being a good leader or like inspiring people is not about being perfect. It's about how you deal with your imperfections. Does that make sense? And so like, okay, like I'm the only child, so it's really easy for me to like have like a selfish mentality or like I just want to do me type thing. But I feel like where we're at right now with like trips going out, and we're gonna have groups here and stuff. That's what we wanted to like tell you guys, is that we need to encourage you guys that we need to be unified and we need to be as one, whether we're away or whether we're here. So the devil so many times likes to put us in isolation, or he likes to give us like a loner attitude. Does that make, or like a loner mentality, like do it all on my own type thing. And I'm not saying that God isn't, like, as trips are going out and like as teams are here, whatever we're doing, I'm not saying that God doesn't deal with us individually and intimately. Of course, you know what I mean? That is the whole point of Jesus coming, was so we can have a personal relationship. But I'm talking more about us as like a corporate group. Like I'm trying to like motivate us, inspire us to be like a powerful alliance that understands that like union is strength. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so, okay, Nikki, you guys went to the zoo, right?
Yes.
Okay, so check this out. What if you guys went to the zoo and like there were no like veterinarians, or there were no like people taming like the animals? There would be like lions eating monkeys and giraffes loving on penguins, and like it would just be, for real though, for real, it would be chaos and it would be crazy. And okay, if you think about pilots, okay, you have a pilot driving a plane in a cockpit, right? But there's also a ground crew, right? There's people that put the luggage into the plane. There's the people that say land the plane. Ooh, tell me when to land the plane. and there's people that land the plane and whatnot. And there's also the air traffic controlling. They say that there's approximately 5,000 airplanes in the air per hour. And so air traffic control has to make sure that these planes aren't colliding into one another, right? And so, okay, I know, just bear with me. Okay, in 1969, Neil Armstrong and this guy, what's his name? Edwin, they called him Buzz Aldrin. They became the first two men to walk on the moon. And this would have never, I thought he was like making fun of me because you guys keep looking at him. They would have never accomplished what they needed to if there weren't like numerous people with all different kind of expertise,
right,
working behind them. Does that make sense?
It's good.
And so why am I talking about lions and airplanes and people walking on the moon? Simply because for anything, any group, any organization, Master's Commission, in order for it to function in its full potential, and in order for us to reach goals that are literally out of this world, walking on the moon, like literally outrageous goals, in order for that to happen, then we need to understand that no one is as smart as all of us. Does that make sense?
That's good.
Like one of us, okay, in 8th grade, I had a favorite song, and it was by Fabulous and Neo, okay? And the lyrics said, I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Does that make sense? So if you think about us, and this isn't very complex, it's very simple. If we're all snowflakes, right? Beautiful snowflakes, all individual, there's no snowflake alike, right? We're all different, and that's cool, we're pretty. But we fall to the ground, and what happens? We just melt. But what happens if all of these snowflakes come together? We can literally shut down a city, right or wrong.
That's good, Zach.
And so, I don't want you guys to get me wrong. I'm not talking about coming into Masters. I mean, obviously we're unified, and obviously all of that, we're getting along and stuff, but I know the reality. I feel like I've been here for 3 years, okay? It's not like we're gonna be walking in here skipping through the sanctuary like everything's all good all the time. And so I understand that there's conflict, and I understand that there's some people in here that you want to be like, well, I'm not feeling her because of what she said in November, or she looked at me wrong, or he said this about me. I understand it. And like when I was asking myself, I don't know why I asked myself, what would Neil Armstrong have done? Like, that's dumb. I should have been asking, what would Jesus do? And because did Jesus not have a crew? Like, he knew that teamwork was like necessary. And so I asked, what did Jesus do? Like when he came across conflict among his people, conflict among other people. And it took me to Mark, and just bear with me, okay? I want you guys to listen to this because it's really cool. Jesus teaches about serving others. It's Mark 10:35. And basically what happens, am I boring you guys to death? Okay, basically what happens is his two disciples, James and John, the sons of Zebedee, they come to Jesus. And the whole book of Mark is all about Jesus in action. Like he's doing healings and he's just on the move. More than him talking about who he is, he's showing, like, I am the Messiah, I am the healer. And so, anyways, James and John go up to Jesus and they ask him, they say, will you do something for us, whatever we ask? And Jesus says, well, what is it that you want? And the two brothers say, well, we want to be seated with you in glory, one of us on the right and one of us on the left. And Jesus asks them, are you going to drink from my cup? Like, basically, are you going to share in my suffering? Are you going to be baptized the way that I'm baptized? And whatnot. And it was really cool, the explanation that they gave of this. Because, okay, I'll just go back to that in a second. But after Jesus told them that, like, are you going to drink from my cup? Are you going to share in my suffering? Are you going to be baptized? It says, when the 10 heard about this, they became indignant with James and John. So when the other disciples heard about the stupid questions that James and John were asking, they became indignant. So indignant, it means like they were frustrated, they were annoyed, they were like, what are you even doing? So that just shows a prime example that it wasn't all them skipping through sanctuaries together on their way to heal people. You know what I mean? They didn't agree all the time and stuff. And at the bottom of it, it shares such a cool like message, because I think so many times when we come into Masters, we know that it's a 9-month program of God like restoring our lives and like giving us dreams and all of that. And because of that adrenaline, we're so quick to say, God, I'll share in your big sufferings. I'll be persecuted. I'll do all of that. But what Jesus was saying right here was that, yeah, you're saying that you'll share in my big sufferings, but will you share in the sufferings when people irritate you while you're serving them?
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah. And so that was the whole point that I wanted to make with that. I really admired how whenever there was a problem, Jesus didn't look the other way. He walked right to the issue and he confronted it in a way definitely without sinning, and definitely in a way without belittling the other person and throwing all of their flaws, bless you, in their face and stuff. But he confronted the problem so that they could move on towards their mission. Does that make sense? And so, that's cool. So I just wanted to encourage you guys. There's going to be trips going out, and like you guys did an awesome job. Like every single one of you, as the groups were like going on and stuff, you guys all led. You know what I mean? And it wasn't me. Like I don't think I heard one dumb remark like, you know, get it together. You know what I mean? It was really awesome, and that just showed. You know what I mean? But